Hello, Richard. Welcome to stream, but different platform this time round. Very exciting. I thought we'd try this one because a lot of people have YouTube accounts, but not everyone has Twitch accounts. But also YouTube keeps the streams for longer, or actually permanently, so until I delete it. So that's pretty cool. Hi Jonathan, welcome. I think this is your first time joining a stream, unless you have a different name on Twitch. But welcome, welcome, welcome. It is so nice to have you here. I don't stream super regularly, but I'm trying to get to a point where it's every other Friday. And so like last week I didn't stream, and I think I did the week before. It kind of depends on what I'm working on. Because yes, I also procrastinate on my work, but also I sometimes have projects that are under non-disclosure agreements, and so I can't really stream those. But today we have a nice bit of time where we can work on one of our Patreon rewards, which is quite exciting. Yeah, NDAs suck. But it's okay. You know, it happens. If nothing was a secret, then we'd have no surprises. So, I choose to look at it that way. I'm just gonna put a little notice on Instagram to say that I am live. But I know it's quite early for a lot of people, just because of time zones and such. How does the frog tongue work? What is it supposed to be doing? Or is it just too much going on? And is it like impacting the game? Good luck with the frog. Ah. My family has awful timing. My uncle is coming to visit to drop something off. It's fine. It's totally fine. How do I share myself? There we go. Welcome back! I've put a thing up for everyone on Instagram, so we'll see if more people join, because I don't want them to miss out, but I suppose they can always watch a bit later. Oh, that's cool that the frog can do that. Do you need to simplify it though for the game jam? Is that what the issue is? Oh, okay. I see. Alright. We're gonna start. Ta-da! Let me just move my chair closer. Ah, yes, if it ends today, you're definitely gonna need to figure it out. But I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope it goes really well, and that you're happy with what you end up producing. Also, a little frog sounds really cool. I think my uncle just arrived. Thank you so much. My Instagram has been growing slowly. I definitely don't post enough, I think, in relation to what the algorithm wants. But, it's okay. Oh, thank you so much. Damn, that was long ago. I mean, I'm almost at 30k, which is crazy. So I don't think I'll do a DTIYS because I'm so busy. But I am planning a giveaway. So there will definitely be prints available for everyone. I'm not super sure yet how many prints, sort of like how many winners. but probably like 3 to 5 depending on the size of the prints. Because like I know a lot of people really like my art, but because I don't run my own print store, the shipping of the print on demand company that I use can get quite expensive. And so a giveaway works well. But yeah, posting enough is it's sort of a impossible task is maybe the better way to put it, because I literally read a post this morning from a really well-known artist, Jamila Knopf. It's a German surname. And she basically said that, you know, she's she has less followers now this month than she did last month, and she's been posting more regularly, making, you know, video content, like basically doing the prescribed kind of level of social media that, you know, all of the social media pros say you should do and whatnot. And she's like, and it's not working, you know. So she's like, well, I'm just gonna do what I want to do then. Which I think is the best way. Yes! The Ghibli artist. And no, Richard, you can't get it for free, but you can enter the giveaway, and then you might get it for free. No. People don't like it when you shove content in their faces. It's like proven, but at the same time we have like flash advertisements. So clearly it works, but I think it depends on the kind of person and all of that. And also I think it's just people want to see stuff that have like emotion and feeling and a bit more meaning behind it nowadays, especially with the rise of AI art, because AI art has no soul, frankly. Like there's like really not much like to an AI artwork. It's kind of very dead usually. I generally haven't even found the ones that are done by like professional artists, because obviously there's some pro artists who've dabbled in the whole AI art thing, and even they are like able to produce cool things, but they have to paint over it, and they have to, you know, put in a lot of work because it's not their style, and it also makes a lot of mistakes. It is getting it for free with extra steps, Richard. But still. Yeah, I haven't personally used it. Like I haven't used any of the AI art tools. I do know that I will have to use it at some point, because it kind of is the future of tools and like the usage and like where art is going, because it's gonna get to the point that you need it for speed, but it's just like I said, it's just not at a skill level where I could just be like, okay, this is actually going to contribute in a positive way to the projects that I work on. Because it won't, at least currently. The majority of my work is currently special editions. Special editions of books. I don't do as many book covers as I'd like to, but I am getting a few more projects here and there, which is very cool, which will allow me to do more book covers, which is what I want to do. Like a definite big dream goal of mine is to walk into my local bookstore, which is called Exclusive Books, or even a Barnes and Noble if I ever visit overseas, and see my art. Like that would be super cool. Yep, that is the dream. One day when I am big. Exactly, and you get to brag. It's really funny. That's kind of what my boyfriend does a little bit now. Is he like finds out if like a colleague of his if their girlfriend is really into books or something, and then he'll be like, "Oh yeah, like my girlfriend does things with like YA books and stuff." It's very sweet. Ah, that's so cool. I mean, if she's not a patron anymore, that's super chilled. I did a massive revamp of my Patreon beginning of this year, because the audience that I have on Instagram has kind of changed a little bit. So like what they want is different now. And so I kind of wanted to get the Patreon to go along with that, essentially, because it's kind of evolved less from an educational follower base, more to like people who like bookish things, which is cool, and it's just sort of the natural progression that happens when you make art and you sort of pivot. And so I've wanted my Patreon to reflect that. So now it's got a lot more like physical rewards that you can get. Some like digital ones, you can get like wallpapers now, which is, I think, is cool. But I also added voting, which is nice. So I've got the sketch a wish, which is very cool. But that's essentially my patrons each month get to vote what they want as like the monthly artwork. So this month is Belladonna, which is a really cool book, one of my favorites, written by Adeline Grace. And then last month was A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. Very nice, very nice. Also one of my favorites. I'm such a sucker for those characters. And then this is Aurea from The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and she is the exclusive. Like I do every 3 months. Certain tiers can vote, and then I make like a fully rendered artwork, and then it's an exclusive print that 2 tiers are able to get, and then it's gone. Like you can't, like you can get it later on if you're one of those tiers, but it's like never gonna be for sale. It's only through Patreon, like that sort of thing. As far as shipping, I use a print-on-demand system because shipping from South Africa is just not a thing. At least not a cost-effective way. Because I think the thing I've struggled with the most was I can ship like documents and stuff, which would be the prints, but I just end up paying so much in relation to like what I would actually make, and so I'd have to charge people so much money for shipping, and so it just wasn't gonna work. So what I've got now is a really cool platform called Inprint, INPRNT, and they do print-on-demand shipping, or like print-on-demand printing, sorry, which essentially is a lot easier because they handle all the shipping and I don't have to worry about it at all. And it's printed at a really high quality as well because it's Giclée or something, the special fancy acid printing or something like that. And it's like the studio grade printing, and then it's all nice. Any sort of like customer service, they do take a percentage, but it's one of the better ones. So for example, if I used Redbubble, which is one of the competitors of Inprint, they take I think it's like 70 to 80%, and you get the remaining amount, whereas Inprint it's 50%, so you get 50% of the profits. However though, if you do a sale, then the sale amount that you get is slightly different. Because they take the sale from your profits, not theirs, which is fine. Because their sales are optional, like you don't have to participate in them. Yep. So that's kind of why I liked Inprint, was their whole like offering was just nicer, frankly. A direct store is better because any profits that you make are purely yours. So the way that would work is, say it costs $5 to produce the print and you sell the print at $15, then obviously customers pay for their own shipping, so you make $10 profit, as opposed to in print where the print costs $15, so you only make $7.50 profit. So you do net more when it's your own, like your own store. Have fun at kickboxing! I haven't done traditional art in a very long time. I did attempt to do some for the one Inktober, but like I haven't touched that in a very long time. Not for any reason, like I just really like digital art, and I've got a really nice work setup. So there's no real reason. But I don't know, I should probably pick it up again at some point. I think it would be a good idea. My computer has frozen. It does this sometimes. I need to upgrade a few of the PC parts, but I am saving. I do not have the finances yet to upgrade. Yep. Photoshop has frozen. But that is what I mainly use. Can I use this? Okay, well that's working. Oh, there we go. But if you want something that does like more traditional paint, like a traditional painter feel, definitely look at Clip Studio Paint. That actually is really good for like emulating like the sort of more traditional art feel, and a lot of people really like it. I haven't used it myself, mainly just because I got the free trial and then I forgot I had it. But I've heard a lot of people have really, really good reviews about the whole thing and the program and how it works and stuff. Procreate's also really good. Like, I think if you have an iPad and you really like it, I struggle a little bit with the like pressure, like the way it works with its pressure sensitivity. But like, I think if you're used to it, then it's really good. A very powerful piece of software. I am using Procreate Dreams though, which is very cool. I've been wanting to see if I can get a little bit of the animation side of things going. So that's been really cool. So I'm in the process of researching rabbit bounce cycles in an effort to make my new video opening sequence, because I'm making a new video intro for all of my Patreon like speed paintings, and then at some point maybe doing a YouTube channel and like making YouTube videos. That would be super cool. You're not using Dreams wrong. Dreams is definitely missing a lot of the traditional, like the normal Procreate tools. Like, you are not wrong. But I know the team is trying really hard to like bring everything like properly to Dream. So I'm kind of like looking forward to seeing how they achieve that. I have not played a game called Winter Bells. That's so cool! I will check out the game Winter Bells though. What is it about? Because I like cozy games with fantasy. Is it a cozy game? I'm currently on the bunny bandwagon, I suppose you could call it. Anyone who's seen my new Patreon icons will get it. Because I think they're so cute and I like combining them with flowers. So all of the different tiers have a bunny that's also got like a flower that's linked to like either the moon or there's like the stars, the moon, the sun, and then the galaxy bunny is just like its own thing. It's floating in the ethereal space. But turns out there are star and moon flowers. They're not expressly called star and moon flowers, but it's like one of their I suppose you call it like nicknames, like if flowers could have nicknames. But yeah, one of their nicknames is like the star flower or the moon flower, which is super cool. And yeah, and I just stole that for my Patreon bunnies. I'm sure at some point I'll have a new obsession post the bunnies, but for now I do not, so it's all fine. One of these paintings, like specifically like something that's as highly rendered as what this one is supposed to be, can take between 15 and 20 hours. It used to take longer, but I have shortened the time, which is pretty cool. So I'm very proud of myself that I've managed to do that. But it can be quite a challenge to maintain the motivation to just keep working at the painting, because the rendering, like, it takes a really long time. And I get bored. I know the feeling. I actually have that happen a lot. And I often found it stems from your lighting. This might not necessarily be the case for you, but my little nugget of wisdom in response to that is I find that if my lighting setup, so like what I want the lighting to be for the piece, isn't solid, like if it doesn't, like when I zoom out, so if we zoom out, you can still see like what the lighting is and what the overall mood of the piece is, even though it's not fully rendered. So if that isn't solid in your mind, irrespective of whether you've got it on the canvas, so if you aren't like 100% sure of what everything should look like in your brain, essentially, then you will struggle with the rendering process. And I've had it many times where I've been like rendering and it's been going super well, and then I run into the fact that the lighting setup that I picked was maybe not good or didn't work with the overall composition of the piece, or like there's so many reasons like why it might not be working. And so then as a result, the piece ends up just going wrong, and I have to redo a lot of it because you have to get the lighting correct and you have to be happy with it. So definitely like look at it from that perspective. Maybe like maybe it's just you need to be a little bit more specific in the lighting setup that you're using, because it'll help in the long run. And like it in general as well, like just as like a general, this is a good thing to do in your painting, is just to have a really solid idea of where you want your lighting to go and like what it's going to look like, because it just helps when you have to start like putting in all of the smaller refinements and like fancy touches and stuff, because then you just feel a little less lost while you're doing it all. I really hope it helps. Like, it should. but maybe that's being a little bit too confident in my own advice skills. But I do get it. Like when you've got you're trying to do something, and even if you're not doing it professionally, it's still something that you care about, and it's just sort of not coming together, or you just feel like you're unable to finish things. Like, it's really disheartening, and that's not what we want, because it's a hobby and you want to have lots of fun when you do it, and you want to feel like you're achieving, or at least like having fun, right? I do also live by the rule of, if it's not working and you've really been like putting a lot of time and effort into trying to get it to work, then it's okay to give up, because art is supposed to be fun, and I don't like, if it's for your job then you can't just be like, so I don't care anymore. No. But if it's a hobby, then it's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be relaxing. And if it doesn't fill that, then just move on. Like, just do something else. Like, have fun with something else. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be this relaxing, like, calm down activity that you do. And the last thing you want is for it to now feel like it's a chore or feel like it's a job. I do agree. Like, posting on Instagram is probably the thing I hate the most about what I do. Apologies to everyone who really enjoys when I post things. But as a result, you kind of feel like, yeah, like you said, it's a job. It's like you're posting it because it's what people want to see, and you want to like game the algorithm sort of setup, whereas it's not necessarily healthy for you to be doing that. Yeah, like Instagram is, I mean, it's like any sort of social media, right? Where you kind of want to use it sparingly. if you can. Or like treat it, how would I say this? Like it's not that important, essentially. Because at the end of the day, like, social media is pretty rigged. Let me put my tinfoil hat on quickly. But it's rigged towards the people who pay for it, right? So those who spend the money each month on the subscription to get the, what's it called? The little blue tick, that thing. Like, they're the ones who are going to benefit the most. And so worrying a lot about, like, posting regularly and whether you're doing well and stuff is just gonna make you sad. So rather just post if you want to. Post if it's something you like, because that's also something I think is, if it's something you want to show to the world, like if you're like, oh my gosh, I did this really cool thing and I want to show people, which a lot of my art back in the day, like if you go back, I archived a lot of the posts, but some of my art from back, I think it was like 3 years ago, they might still be there, but that was definitely the approach I took. Was I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. I leveled up in my like skin rendering or something, you know, and so as a result I was like, oh, I really want to show people, and then I posted it. And so that's a much healthier way, I think, in my opinion, of approaching like Instagram and that sort of like posting culture, because otherwise you're just going to feel sad and kind of depressed, because it's not favored towards you unless you want to drop, what was it, like $15 a month or something stupid. What you can do for that, Jonathan, if you're really worried, is there are two pieces of software out at the moment that you can use. The one's called Nightshade, the other one's called Glaze, and you can feed your illustration into those. I'm not sure if they require subscriptions or if you have to pay per image. I haven't looked into them yet, but they're basically anti-AI software. So Glaze just prevents the AI system from recognizing your art as what it is. So for example, if you drew a cat and it gets fed into an AI model and you glazed it, the AI model is going to be like, that's a dog with 5 legs and horns, is essentially what it does. If you use Nightshade, which is personally the one I like, but that one's the one that obviously disrupts the AI and like infects it. It's kind of like an AI virus. If they're free, then definitely use them. No. Hopefully, as companies, or like as their creators keep working on them though, that they'll start to look a little bit better. Because that would be cool, right? I definitely think with time, though, they'll get better. I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you don't feel comfortable, then that's okay. Like, it's no one's business. That is true. Like, it is an arms race, as you said, where it's kind of like, it's who's gonna who's gonna get there first, sort of thing. But I'm not really sure of a way around it at the moment. Need a pink. I do not like that. It can go away. Oh, I was like, what is this panel that I just opened? I got so confused. I'm glad you're happier with your frog tongue. Just gonna find a reference photo quickly. I am using the wrong brush. No. To leave the eyebrow on a different layer. I think this is a smart idea. Make her nose pointier. chromatic aberration this? Let's see, let's see. No. No. We're gonna fake it. Gonna go fake some chromatic aberration. Hehehe. This will be my new eyelashes. Can go above. I do not. I don't have any peers. Like I've got some friends who paint, but they don't do digital painting. Or I have one. I have one friend who paints. I am part of the communities though. Like we have a bookish community. Is what I would call it, which is essentially like a bunch of the different artists who work within Bookstagram. We all have a little community that we kind of got going together, just so that we all had a place to relate and find people who were of a similar job and mindset as each other, which was really cool. I like it. but I don't interact with people too much there. It gets a little bit busy. And also, a lot of them live overseas. So there's a lot of people who live in like the UK and a lot in America as well. And that's just, it's very far for me. Like, South Africa is just far from like everything. Doing some layer naming. Otherwise, I get lost. Oh my gosh, I got so confused for a second. I was like, did my music just turn off? It's like, that's not cool. That's super cool. I'm a bit jealous. My boyfriend is a software engineer. So we don't really share like a creative hobby. I kind of wish we did, but also at the same time we share a lot of our other hobbies. For example, we both play D&D, and that can get it gets really hectic when you want to have time to yourself, because you just don't at that stage. So like, as cool as it would be having him draw, I think it would be a bad idea. Yes, I do agree. Like, I really enjoy being able to ask him about my art, because sometimes he has like a unique perspective on like the piece I'm doing, or just like the overall vibe of like the artwork or something, and that's really really helpful and really cool, and it brings me a lot of joy. He's also like my biggest fan, which is very sweet. Actually, no, I lie. My sister's my biggest fan. If she's watching, I have corrected myself. Oh wow, that's hectic. Um, that definitely sounds a bit like the "come to me when you have real problems" thing that some people do, um, which is not healthy. um, Not even like a little bit. But you know, like, you were sharing, and that's cool. Sharing is important. She's definitely giving off anime protagonist vibes. Aurea of the Nightborn. Little serpent. I'm impressed I've managed to keep this blood splatter on her face. Usually by now I would have painted over it. So as you can see, I'm being very good. Very disciplined. That's cool. I never thought of it that way. But she's from the book The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, which I really enjoyed. And I thought she was quite cool. She had a cool like character arc, which was really nice. No. Her brow bone. Because her whole thing was like, she's a human, and she's in this like world with vampires and stuff, but sort of like more fantasy vampires, which I always like. I like things with more fantasy than contemporary vibes. So anyway, so she's in this world, and her father is the King of the Nightborn, which is the one group of vampires, because there's different tribes, or like, I suppose tribes works. Different groups? I don't know. Anyway, I'm doing a great job at explaining this. But anyway, so her father is the king, and she is his adopted human daughter. And obviously she's like spent her whole life being the human, and so now there's this thing they have called the Kajari, which is a fight for, kind of like a fight for succession, but not really. It's sort of like it's a Hunger Games-esque fight, and then the winner gets to pick their prize. They can they get a wish from the goddess, because there's a goddess. She's really cool. Nyaxia is her name. And so Aurea, our main character, enters into the Kajari because she wants to follow in her father's footsteps. She wants to be his, I can't remember, but basically she's like, I want to be your right hand girl. I want to be the one who protects you in the night, essentially. And so she goes into the Kajari, and it's all very cool and dangerous and yada yada yada. And she meets this other vampire called Rain, with an H. And he basically shows her that there's a bit more to life than being a vampire, essentially, because her whole shtick in the beginning of the show is that she's a human, and this is obviously deeply upsetting for our protagonist because humans are weak and filthy creatures, and they can do nothing because vampires are the bestest and most superior. And I'm being very rude. It's actually quite cool. Like, the whole thing is the humans are actually, like, I would say oppressed in this world. It doesn't follow the sort of Twilight logic, or like a lot of other vampire stories do, where the vampires are in hiding from the humans. In this world, it's like, no, the vampires are in charge, and that's really cool. So I really like that. Anyway, and so she's basically kind of like grown up with her entire race being lesser to kind of everyone else. And so she doesn't feel like being a human has any value to it until she meets Rain. And Rain's all like, being a human is super cool, and you get to do all these cool things and have feelings and emotions and love. Remember, kids, love is important. But yeah, and then basically she falls in love and then is betrayed, because it wouldn't be a YA book if no one was betrayed. But other than that, very cool. I really liked the sort of more fantasy take on the vampires, because you don't get it enough. And also, Array is just badass. Like, definitely one of my favorite female protagonists. Because she has actual trust issues, and I thought that was really cool. Oh, I've heard a lot about Gideon the Ninth. I haven't read it. My current like big TBR that I want to do is Swordcatcher, because fun factoid, I did all of the official art for it, but I haven't read it. So please don't tell Cassandra Clare, because she'll come for me. But that's kind of like my big sort of more fantasy than YA story that I want to read. Swordcatcher's pretty cool though. Swordcatcher is the like adult fantasy book that she's written. So if you know her Shadowhunters series, that's all super YA, which is cool, but for a lot of people, that's not necessarily like what they want. And so it was really cool having her write the Swordcatcher series, because it falls more into that like proper sweeping fantasy story. So kind of like your Trudy Canavan, Brent Weeks, Who's another one? I wouldn't say Brandon Sanderson because his books are like really crazy. But maybe more like the Mistborn series from Brandon Sanderson. A little bit of A Name in the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. That's his name. So she kind of wrote Swordcatcher to fill that like area of book, and that's really cool because it's her like branching out. So for people who like more involved fantasy stories, it's really cool. A lot of people have said that it's kind of like a political intrigue book. So if you like political intrigue, have a look. But I do agree, like her Shadowhunters series covers are really cool. It's like a cool like blending of art and Photoshop, like photo bashing, which has always been super interesting to me. This feels like it's going to take me forever. I cry. I feel like her ear is really big. That's okay. You can always shrink an ear. Big ear representation. Yes. I actually have a project that I'm working on right now. It is for a special edition that's going to go into Barnes and Noble, which is quite cool. But the description for the male character that I'm painting literally he's described as having like quite big ears. And I was like, how do I add this to his like illustration? Because it's like quite a core feature, but quite difficult from the direction that I painted them, because it's in a side profile. So I don't know. But we'll see. But yeah, so there's our big ear representation. Exactly. Like, you don't want people to look at it and be like, this artist messed up, man. Can I, like... No? My puppy has come to say hi. One day I'll get a dog cam. Except you'll never see him. Because he doesn't sleep a lot. Well, he does, but only earlier in the day. And now he thinks it's food time. But it's not. It's not food time. You know this. Yeah, you do. This is the wrong layer. He is a Cocker Spaniel, little English Cocker Spaniel. Fancy little pooch. Very sweet, very loving, very naughty as well. But that's okay. If he wasn't naughty, he would be boring. Or my life would be boring, rather. No, I want to zoom out. Take me out. Nope, I know the feeling. My puppy, his name is Orion. He is up at 6 a.m. every morning because it is food time. What do you mean it's not food time? It's food time. It's always food time. Oh, you know what I haven't done? I haven't flipped the canvas. Oh no, it looks awful. Quick, go into liquefy. Oh, that's so cute! Jupiter's a great name for a kitty. Also, welcome back, Richard. I mean, the real scary thing is this other eye, but wait. We're going to fix it. Don't worry. Look, 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 look. Check out my crazy skills. I'm so skilled at art. Let's go back there. What did I do, you may ask? I obviously painted the other eye. Whoa! Many wows. Yes, I do. This little one here. Why does it feel like the eye is too high? I don't know. We'll bring it down. I did. Oh! Then no. No, I did not know that. I will. I will look into that. Because that's probably a really good idea. I don't know if this is relevant. Yeah, it works. Oh, that's very cool. Behold, we painted the second eye, everyone. Was there any doubt? No. does need to be flattened a bit though. I can't see anything. It's so dark. I think this needs to be black, basically. Like that. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely pink hair. I'm going to lighten this in here. I do want to do a very self-indulgent thing, which is putting strands of hair, because I love strands of hair. Strands of hair are so cool. It just like makes a piece look really, really fun. It adds that realism. I mean, it's mainly around her face currently, because the lower part of her hair is... We're just gonna remove that quickly. Because also it's not connected properly. I have to do like... this. There we go. No. Actually, I think she's the same age as you. She's like 24. Hello, Pooch Pooch. Hello. Oh, I know it's food time, but it's not now. I cannot help you. Did I just make you older or younger than you are? Well, there you go. You can take it as a compliment. Oh, thank you. I wanted to do like really dramatic lighting in this piece, because in the book she has this like fire magic that she discovers, let's say. Yeah, she discovers it. There's nothing weird about it. Anyway, but yeah, so she discovers her fire magic, but it's like this black fire, which I always think is super cool, if very difficult to draw. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to have it like lighting her up in a way that was just very dramatic and very like whooshy. Exactly. So I just went for like silver fire but with black pieces in it, and then with the red to be a bit dramatic with like blood, and that would trigger warnings a little bit. If you believe. There is nothing that says you can't. You just have to believe. You know, like how Peter Pan says we should believe? Yeah, like that. That's how you discover black fire magic. That's fine. It's super sketchy, so as long as I know what's going on, it's all good. I don't know if I need to do... I think that works. Yes. Now we will add freckles. Because everybody has freckles. Totally. There there is no one who is exempt from the freckle. Get a little bit of, if I can spell skin, this one. You probably do. They're just super light. I'm arguably going a little bit real, like a lot of realism for this piece, but it's for my patrons and they're super sweet and they support me each month, so I really want to make something that's really nice for them. Because, you know, they deserve it. They're all my little bunnies. You can be a bunny, Richard, if you go and join my Patreon. Not to like plug it, but that's the only way you can be referred to as a bunny by me. But if there are, like, if you really want to, I'm sure there are other ways you can be a bunny. Don't be afraid to express yourself. You can be a loperin. No shame in wanting to be a bunny rabbit. I don't know, just like, are you prepared for what it entails to be a bunny? Because I don't know if you've prepared. Kind of want to make her boulder metallic. It'd be cool if it's metallic. Yeah, bunnies don't have thumbs. And yeah, you will have lots of kids. So I think long and hard about, is this direction the one you want to take? You know? Like, is this what's truly going to make you happy? I mean, if that's what's important though, is to think about it. You need to do the thinking. I wonder if I can add like a little scar. It's like a cheeky... Let's be lighter. Like maybe she broke her nose. No. I can add one here maybe. Just like on the side of her nose. Yeah, exactly. Well, because I kind of thought you know, because Aurea's quite a badass, right? So but she would have, like, she went through all this training, so she would definitely have some evidence, like, of said training, like, surely, right? So we're gonna add some. But it'll be super subtle, because they have these, like, healing potions in the world. Which are cool, but kind of like do that thing where it's like, oh, well, I got injured. Oh well, it's fine. It's like, some realism maybe would be cool. I really enjoy being able to read the book before I paint. Unfortunately, I really am not always able to do that. But it's really cool, like, if I do get to do it. Because, then, like you said, I get to do all of these, like, small extra details that normally people wouldn't think to add if they haven't read the book and seen what the character went through and all of that. And this is, like, by no means a failing on the artist's fault. It's just like sometimes we don't have the time, or I've had it where the book isn't out, so I'm not even able to read anything, like there isn't anything to read. Yes, I do listen to audiobooks a lot. I don't know if you've seen some of my stories where I've been like, look, I'm starting this audiobook. I read, I don't know if this doesn't really count. I listened to, what was it? Hellbent recently, which was really cool. It was such a good book by Lee Bardugo. Like, I really loved it. I really, really loved it. So I'm definitely hoping I can do some art for that in the future. I thought Alex Stern was really cool. And then I'm currently listening to the new Sarah J. Maas book, which is okay. Like, it's a book. Whether it's one of my favorites, probably not. The first Crescent City book definitely was a favorite though. Like, I loved Crescent City 1. Like, it was just so good. House of Earth and Blood just brought me joy. This looks like it's part of her hair, and it's not. So we're gonna just take it out. Ninth House is really cool. Wait, did I say I read Hellbent? Lol, no. I read Ninth House. Hellbent is the second book. I really like Ninth House. But I completely understand when people don't finish it. Because it's not an easy read. Like, it takes a really long time for anything, frankly, to happen. And there's like so many different plots that are taking place at any given moment. And it can all get a little bit confusing and kind of unnecessary. So I don't blame you. But I do think Leigh Bardugo is a better writer than Sarah J. Maas. Please don't come for me. But like, having read both their adult books, like Crescent City being Sarah's series, and then Ninth House and Hellbent being Leigh's series, I just found that Leigh has a better grasp of when to use like certain kinds of themes. So one of the criticisms I have of Sarah's work is that I find it to be a little too, or over-sexualized is the word I'm going for, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I find her work to be quite over-sexualized. Like, it kind of, you'll be reading and then there'll be something that's related to sex or like in a sexual nature that kind of doesn't have any reason being in the story. Like, it doesn't add to the story, if that makes sense. Whereas I found from reading Ninth House that Leigh is a lot better at that. Like, she's better at picking when to add something and then making sure that it adds something to the story. Like, there's the one scene with the character Darlington, and it does count as a sexual scene, but the sort of purpose of it in relation to the story is this like really embarrassing moment for him. And so it's like a bit of grounding for him as a character, and then for him and Alex, it's actually a connecting point for them. Like, it's a moment from where their relationship goes from kind of being more business colleagues to hey, we actually could be friends in a weird way. And I just thought it was done really well, and it had a purpose. Whereas I find Sarah's stuff now, it just kind of feels like she's adding the sexy things because that's what people expect of her. And I'm like, it's okay to not, you know? It doesn't have to be. Like, I have a specific scene in mind, but it's not super appropriate for a stream, like to mention it on stream. Hello, Orion. Yes. But it's like there's like the one guy who's being tortured and he's in huge amounts of pain and discomfort, and then like, instead of, you know, thinking of like a happy thought of the female lead that he's in love with, he has like a sexually charged thought. And I was like, it's just so, like, why? You know, because it kind of feels like it reduces him to like a 2D cop-out of a person, and then it like reduces her to like a 2D cop-out as well. And I was just like, this just makes no sense to me. But I also, you know, freely acknowledge that there are some people who love that, and that's what they really like about Sarah's works, you know, is that she writes very good and very compelling like romance, and that's cool. That's why we have all these different authors. so that we can have different taste. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna begrudge someone for liking it. Like, that's just stupid. But I myself don't like that sort of stuff. I love how it's just like, her face is really well rendered. Nothing else. we did nothing else. Well, we rendered her armor a little bit. I kind of want to make her nose a bit pinker. Let's add a little bit soft light. And then I want to lighten here. Maybe not. Oh, I've heard very good things about the Scholarman's series by Naomi Novik. I loved her Uprooted book. Like, it's one of my all-time favorites, and I'm really hoping that the wonderful people on my Patreon are going to vote for it one of these months, because I really want to be able to paint it. And then one of my favorite artists as well of all time, Rosie Thorns, she painted a piece from it, and I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. This is one of my favorites. I've heard really good things as well about her Temeraire series, which is like her dragon series. It's like Dragon Riders. My boyfriend read those way back, like yonder, and he said those were really good as well, so I was thinking about it, but I know it's quite a long series, so I was kind of like, I don't know, a bit hesitant. But I really like her as an author. I think she's really good. A little bit bluer. looks so cool. If I want it to be pinker over here, I'll just leave it. Like that. My back is getting tired from sitting at my desk, but we have 25 minutes left, and then I will have been streaming for 3 hours straight, give or take. So I think that'll be a good spot to call it. So for those watching who want to learn, what I just did was I pushed her hair and like some of her scarf further into the background to bring out the silhouette of her body a bit more, because she has quite a lot of hair and it's like really chunky. This just helps to make sure that she as like a person still stands out in relation to all of that hair, because you don't want her to kind of fade away, essentially. You still want her to feel like she's, you know, front and center of the drawing and she's not being like overshadowed by her hair. So then what you can do is you can still go in and add like darker pieces to it. So for example, we can go here and like carve out a little bit, maybe a bit more over there as well, to kind of add to the hair. But ultimately, this is to kind of make it so that she just has a stronger silhouette. Because also you can't really see her clothes all that well, which is a problem, because you don't want her to disappear, so to say. I'm not gonna lie though, this is a very daunting piece to do. And the reason I say it's daunting is because it's a very silhouette focused piece. Because when you do portraits, which is essentially what this is, where it's just like it's a character standing, looking badass, looking at the camera. You want to make sure that there's interest in the piece, right? So for example, you kind of want the lines of the illustration. We're gonna do a fun learning time. Put your learning hats on. I don't know what's on this layer, but we're gonna leave it. So we're gonna do what I learned as the bloodlines. Or like the flow lines of a piece. So when you're painting something, this is not just for portraits, but you want all of the lines in the piece to lead your eye to the focal point. And in this case, our focal point is her face, right? Let me get my cool pencil. So it's her face. So what lines do we have? We've got this one here from her scarf, which kind of goes up to her blade, which goes to the face. We've got the other scarf, which goes to her face. We've got her arm, which goes to the face. You've got all of these fire things which like point towards the character. But then in the lower half, there's not that much going on. And so all of that is meant to draw your eye to her face. Then on top of that, so let's just clear everything. You also have levels of detail. So for example, we're going to have a higher level of detail over here as opposed to down here. Like down here is not going to be very deep, like there's not going to be a lot going on. Like we're going to have like a little bit of her armor, but not really, because I want the main focus to be around her face, because that's where you want people to look. Other ways you can do this is, for example, like high levels of contrast, because we've got like the contrast there, there, here, here, to the rest of her hair. So these are all like points of contrast. Whereas, again, with that lower level of detail, in the corners, we've just got that contrast, a little bit there. And even this is very low contrast, so it doesn't count. And all of this is so that you look at her pretty face. But on that note, we can talk about the silhouette, right? Because if you can fudge the silhouettes of characters or like of people, right? Because in this case we've got swooshy hair, right? So if we hadn't pushed her back, the silhouette would be that, right? A little pokey out bit and then down. That's not very interesting, right? But by pushing certain pieces of her like silhouette into lower contrast spaces, our silhouette now is this, which is like super interesting, right? And we've got like this there, this comes down, there's like a big circle there. This is already super detailed and complicated. But this all makes for a more interesting like visual experience, and we don't have to then lose the super swooshy fantasy girl hair, right? Which is really cool, and it's all just art principles. This is by no means me saying I am an expert. I am not an expert. I am still learning. I have my own like very detailed courses that I'm working through. But this is just stuff that I've learned over the years, and if I can impart this wisdom upon those of you watching and those of you who are going to watch it after the fact, I really hope this makes a bit of sense and helps you improve your future illustrations. But yeah, lots of fun. I definitely think you also want to do things like, this is something I don't always do actively when I make my silhouette, but you want to have complicated silhouettes. So like, let's do this in a different color. We'll use purple. So this side of the character is super complicated. It's like super jagged and pointy and there's a lot going on. Whereas this side is a curve. It's so smooth. Look at it. It's just whoosh. Same up here. This side, super, super complicated. This side, but a curve. So you want to contrast the character with that, right? Because if, for example, you had both, like, you could do it where there's like one side was super complicated. So if you did it like this side's super complicated and then the rest of it here is super complicated and then this was all a smooth curve, you can do that, but it won't flow as nicely. You won't have that like feel of balance like as you're illustrating. And also just generally things like that don't happen naturally. So for example, you know, she's lifting her dagger up, so the dagger is pointing out here, but by doing so, she's created this complicated silhouette here. So in having that happen, you want to balance it with the simplicity. Because you want to give the people looking at your artwork places where their eyes can take a rest. Like, people's little brains need to take naps when they look at things. It's very reductionist, and this does not exclude anyone. Like, everyone's brains take baby naps when they look at things, because you like have information overload and you're processing everything. So we're gonna have like, oh my gosh, the face, it's so involved, there's lots going on, look at the hair strands and stuff. Okay, my brain is now tired, so we're gonna look at, oh, look at this like really bland piece of armor here. Oh, that's nice, I like that. Oh, look at this really complicated extra section over here. And so you want to have a nice balance of that so that people's brains can take naps. Because if you don't, and their brain can't take a nap, they're going to look at your piece, they're going to get overwhelmed, kind of tired, the piece is going to feel unbalanced, and then people are going to be like, I don't know if I like this, but they won't know why. And it's because their brains need a nap. Simple. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. But yeah, so I hope that answers any questions that people may have with regards to how art works. And what's awesome is now this is going to stay on the internet, on YouTube, so anyone who watches it will learn, which is so exciting. I just get excited about art. So it's just one of those things. But yeah, this was fun. See, your brain needs a nap now so that it can process all of the information it was just fed. And then it'll wake up and be like, oh wow, that was so cool, essentially. I really don't know what's on this layer though, and it bothers me. We're gonna delete it. It doesn't exist. This is hair bits. And this is scars. Yes! Yay, art! I'm gonna just put, there's one thing extra that I want to do, just as I was working over here. So, it's specifically in this section here, because I don't like how the hair is just really chunky, like there's nothing to break it up. So I'm just going to go in with this brush, and I'm going to just create some strands. Make it a bit darker there. Add back in the purple. Yep, I have done that many times. So I know how it feels. Where you're like, oh, look at me go! I have this thing that I'm going to select and it's going to be really, really cool. And then it's like, no, because there isn't anything there. It was all a lie. Was just your FBI agent, just in time. We dropped connection for a second there, which means that it is time to end the stream, because my internet is probably being questionable at this point. I think something is being downloaded on the internet. But either way, it is time to finish. Thank you everyone for coming. It was so awesome to have everyone here and to chat. It was really nice having a very engaged stream, which was cool, because my last one was very, very chill. It was more of like a vibe and draw session. So it was really nice to be able to talk, to be able to impart some wisdom. I think we did really good in terms of progress. We got Aurea's face done. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I think it just makes me happy. It just looks really cool. I definitely am one of those people who's like, oh wow, I made that. So I'm very glad this was easy, because it really sucks when you paint something and it's quite difficult. And that isn't always, like, you don't always get an easy painting, and so when you do, it's always really nice. But anyway, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Have an awesome Friday day, Friday evening. Don't know what time zones we got, but make it be a fun one. And I hope that the stream has given you some wisdom into art, and that you're maybe feeling a little bit inspired to go and do your silhouette design for your characters. But yeah, thank you very much.